Hello, so this video is about the characteristics of a Vedanta student. All that a student needs to have is first and foremost, and it applies to any student of academics or college, school, anywhere. The first thing is Shraddha, which is attention and focus, which is the most important first number one priority. The second one is the excitement to educate yourself. It's not that, okay, someone told me to do it, so I'm doing it. Nah, that is the work. It does not work that way. So you should have an excitement to know more about the subject. And the third is set yourself certain time to educate and a dedicated time so that you do not skip on it, but it's a part of your routine for while studying it. And when spiritual study begins, then park rest of everything else aside. So I hope I will reiterate it again. The first one is Shraddha. The second one is excitement to study. And the third one is prepare yourself a certain time so that you can set everything aside and focus on these uh, learnings. And one of the most important thing that I have found and I was told is trust. Trust is the key word that we all need to have while learning anything in our life. On what should we trust? Trust on the teacher or the facilitator or someone who is talking to you. Trust on the second trust is on the subject that you're going to definitely learn something and it is going to impact you. That's trust, and that faith is so important. Then the third one is trust on yourself. Trust and believe that you can understand it. You can get there. So these are the three trust. And it should be an unwavered trust. A trust that cannot be disturbed, a trust which cannot be distracted. If you have that, I'm sure these things, these perspectives will be such a good breather in your life. You can get them so easily. You can understand because it's common moral science. And I will give you a small example of how a trust should be. Let's say we have taken a white blank paper. So if I just quickly grab a paper and I say this is blank paper, you would agree with me. But if I have a small dot in here and I say this is the blank paper, you would not agree with me because it is not blank, or it has a dot in it. Similar is your trust. Even an ounce of doubt doesn't help. I'll give you a small analogy. There was a sage who was um, who was invited for dinner and to share the knowledge that he had. The lady who invited him after inviting him was talking about all the riches that she has, all the fame she has, and to hearing to that, the sage could understand how much ready she is to understand the wisdom or the knowledge. So every time that when he sat down for the food and she was trying to serve him, she could see some sand in the bowl that she was serving the food to. So every time she's serving, the sage then clears up the sand and again is ready for the food. And she serves, and then again she sees the sand. So it was quite a disturbing sight of understanding that how much ever she's trying to serve him the food, but the bowl is getting filled with sand. So when it keeps repeatedly happening, then she understands deeply that the moment she is ready with a pure heart and with no additional definitions of her own self or her ego, when she gives that Sharanagati, which means the total complete dedication and a trust on the Swami, on the sage who was imparting the knowledge, and then she started to serve the food, she could see that the bowl was empty and she could serve the food easily. because it's a symbolic representation that about the food and the sand in the bowl, but all the intent behind every analogy is what you need to catch, and not the literal meaning of it. So I hope you understood that how important a trust is and what are the characteristics of a Vedanta student. And where do you need to search for this knowledge? This knowledge has to be searched within you. Every example discussed ahead should be in line and compared to your own self. I'm not talking about, or the scriptures have not spoken about someone else or the second person in your life. It's all about you. So, the first place where to search it is you. And a simple example that you can remember is once there was an old lady who was searching for something under a street light. A young boy was passing by. He was so curious to check with the old lady. What happened, grandma or old lady? Why are you so disturbed and what are you checking for? She said that I had lost my needle. So he asked, what were you doing earlier and where did you see it last? She says that I was inside the inside my hut and I saw it last over there while I was sewing. So he says, then if you have done, if you were inside and if you lost it inside, why are you here? What are you doing outside the house and why are you looking out it over here? She innocently or ignorantly replied, because there's a street light here, I'm searching it here. So that's how the world we are running in. There's so much peace and so much joy within us, which actually vibrates and transmits to the world, but we are trying to find that fun and peace outside the world. The moment that you find the peace and joy constantly inside you, it it resonates around you as well. So, like the old lady, let's not look out for the thing that we lost out there in the world, but let's start finding it within us. There are two terminologies that these studies are called as. If you're trying to know something about your own self, that knowledge is called Paravidya. Paravidya. And if you're trying to know something about the world, about the routine of facts and figures of the world, situations in the world, that is called Aparavidya. This journey of Upanishads, this inward journey of Upanishads, which inspires peace, is a, yes, Paravidya. All right, and it's so important to safeguard this knowledge because, like you wear your shoes to your feet, this knowledge is like always keep it on your shoulders because it will safeguard you from many situations. It will try to keep you calm, give you these new perspectives that you're going to learn will keep you so safe in a zone where you can still be in that calm state of mind but with a matured and understanding ability. It's not to be ignorant and stay calm even and ignore things. It's about knowing it, witnessing it, acting or doing what is needed, and thus safeguarding your calmness. And also, if there's a scarf, and the scarf is silk scarf, and you put it on a roses or on plants of where they're full rose, it's very common sense that their roses will have thorns on it, and the silk cloth, once you put it on it, it will have the holes because of the thorns. So you should be very careful about your silk cloth, which is in comparison to your knowledge that you have gained. Once you have gained this knowledge, try to safeguard it because life's journey is not easy for anyone. You need to dive in with all these equipments and tools of perspectives, higher knowledge, right, uh, right strength to handle the world. And freestyle is my style kind of a world is good until you're protected by your guardians and parents, but once you get onto the real world, these perspectives and these well sorted thoughts will help you, will safeguard you. So remember the silk cloth, which you need to keep safe and not just spread it across and get it spoiled. So keep your knowledge safe. And the more you know about these things that we are going to see ahead, it's like a shaded lamp. Once a lamp is cleaned, which was with dust, is cleaned and neat, the light inside glows more. So let's try to remove all the blockages as much as we can from our within through this Paravidya of Upanishads. Let's wear these thoughts and ideas and perspectives like the shoes that we wear to our legs. Always keep this knowledge on your shoulders while you're living mindfully, living this world. Okay, thank you so much. Let's dive into the subject of each of these chapters ahead. Thank you for listening.